right, the purpose of this video is to demonstrate jack going through a compressor and equalizer using VU meters and then into Open Broadcaster. I already have jack up on the screen because I had to turn on some features so that I could use the microphone. And what we see is this thing down here I'm moving around. This is QJack CTL. It's the front-end visualizer for jack. It's normally just a command line program. And this up here, these connections, these are the result of clicking on the connect button on the lower one down here. And the default connections that came up are the system capture. I've got them expanded, by the way. Normally you don't see them unless you tell them not to. Expand all, does that undo it? No, it doesn't undo it. But anyway, system capture. This is the system playback. System capture is not connected to system playback, so there's no sound coming to the speakers. Pulse audio sync is connected to the system playback, so anything that's coming that is sent into Pulse will go to playback. The capture is going into Pulse source. So as I'm speaking, it is going into Pulse source, and it is the Record My Desktop that is reading Pulse source, and hopefully you're hearing the audio. I can't because it's well, I could if I go to system. See, what you do is you highlight these things, and I highlight them in column A and column B. All right, they're both highlighted, and click connect. I think the speaker sound is up, so it should actually hear it right away. Hello, testing. Testing. Yes. Okay. That's the. Now I can disconnect. Goodbye. And they're not connected. All right, so we are basically up and connected. We want to start playing games down here. J meters down at the bottom here. These are the VU meters. Well, there we go. I didn't hit it right. And I want two of them. You'll see why in a moment. There's two of them. They're numbered. They have a little numbering difference between them, but otherwise they're pretty much the same. I want to take the system capture. You see they're appeared up here in the targets. They can be written too. Let me go to expand all again. I like it. It doesn't matter. System to the first jack meter connect. And now you see, as I'm speaking, you can see the meters have begun to move. One of them has begun to move, one set. The other set's not moving because it's not connected yet. All right, so we have that up and running. Now let's bring up the compressor, mixer, all-purpose thingy. It's this JA-Min down here. And I'll bring it up. There it is. And it's got a million options in it. And I'm not going to go through them all because I don't know what they all are yet. But okay, it's up and running, and it's not doing anything. But you'll notice over here, it appeared in the connections. There is a target that you can write to, and there's its output. This is the output from JMin, which I can connect to other things. Okay, so I want to run system capture into JMin. Now watch what happens when I do the connect. What happens is JMin is suddenly going to see my voice. Hello? Hello? Oh, by the way, did you notice that it default connected, see hear the echo? It default connected JMin to system playback, so I'll disconnect that. It did it as I connected this way. That's the way it defaulted. Anyway, you can see the graph of my dulcet tones coming up on the spectrum. This is frequency, and these are groups of low frequency, middle frequency, high frequency. These can be moved back and forth. These down here are settings. They're very complicated settings for how the compressor works. The next page over here is an equalizer, 30 bands of equalization. That's a lot. And again, lots of things to toy around with the equalization. Here is the spectrum as I speak. And here are the compressor curves. I have not played with them, but apparently you can modify the compressor curves. So this is the main one, the first one. All right, so it's up and running. Let's move it to, let's take its output here and connect it to the other meter. Here's the other meter here. Notice I highlight both and I click connect. Now you see both meters, both sets of meters are running at the same time. Now I'm going to bring up the tone. The tone is coming in from another machine. It's a 1K, 1000 hertz tone being a sine wave tone generated by Audacity. And it's coming in through the mixer, and I'll turn it up. Very exciting, I'm sure. I don't know if you could hear that. Very exciting, I said. All right, well, you notice that as I turned it up, the first set of meters, which are the raw data, went up to peak, and the others didn't. Try it again. Now I could take it over the top. Now I could take it over the top. The problem is I overload the mixer at that point, or the amplifier someplace along the line. This down here, this fast look ahead limiter, that's the firewall. So if I move this guy down a bit and I now do it again, you'll see a difference. I'm going to try not to overload it this time. I'll only go up to the 200 mark here. Now you can see the raw went far into the red. The output didn't. It did not. It was being limited, in other words. So it does work. Now there are a million settings here. I don't claim to know what they all are, but there's something to sort out. All right. Let's go over to the spectrum and try that again. See what the spectrum does. Remember, it's a 1K signal. Now you can see it came in at the 1K mark. The right bars over here, those are the output bars. And you'll notice that they only go up to a certain point once you've limited it. So, all right, so I now have a couple of things working. Let's get the target, which is Open Broadcaster. That's the one we want to get. So there's Open Broadcaster. And ta-da, you can see down here, Open Broadcaster is picking my material up. I may want to not make that quite so much of a limitation there. But yeah, okay, there's Open Broadcaster. It has its own volume control and so forth, but it is picking up what I'm saying. It's coming in as a mic, but that doesn't matter. Could come in as anything. This is in settings over here. If you go to audio settings, you'll find that it's using the jack source. Getting Open Broadcaster to recognize the jack source is a problem. But it is recognizing it, and it is working. So in other words, the signal coming in from the mixer, which is picking it up from the microphone and from the other computer, is going in through the audio card that is being picked up by jack. And then jack is redistributing it to different places around the machine. Sorry, I'm getting hoarse. All right. Another item here that we may want to look at is the equalizer. There is an equalizer built in as well. You don't want to use both, I should think. There may even be a limiter in here, I'm not sure. You notice it's not doing anything because it popped up here and it's not yet connected. Whoops, I hit disconnect all. That was not good. No, I didn't. What did I do? Okay. The jack equalizer, again, has inputs and outputs. What I want to do is connect the input to the jack equalizer. Now you see the equalizer is responding as I speak. It's hearing my voice. Now the output here, I could run it someplace else, but I don't want to. But that's another example of how you can do things like that. Okay, I killed it. OBS is still running. So there's probably a bunch of other things, but that should be a hint at the beginning. Now the problem of getting it started, before all this ran, there's a terminal here, I had to run the following program. It's a script file. This started the jack daemon in the background. It's jack d-d also, and the ampersand means to run in the background. And it is up there running. As you can see, it's there it is right there, jack D. You can see all the other guys running too. There's JMIN, meters, pulse audio, D-bus, jack control, probably a few others that are hiding. But yeah, they're up and running. The other thing is, before I could do this, I had to modify part of the system. Go to /etc. and go to Pulse, the directory Pulse. It may vary in your system. This is Linux Mint 18.1, which is Ubuntu based, so it should be pretty much the same on any Ubuntu related system. And you'll see there's some files down here. I'm not root, so I don't know what it'll say if I try to I can become root if necessary. Okay, it's read-only though. Down at the end here, notice I added load module, module dash jack dash sync and dash source. This is in the file system.pa. I also added these lines here, which came from another file, if exists, and these load the jack D modules into the into the kernel. The other file, that was system.pa, default.pa. There's a lot of stuff down here. This is where I got that code. I don't know if it's necessary to put it over there, but once I did, I may have done other things at the same time. It started working, so I'm leaving it there. Anyway, that's that piece of code, and then at the very end there, which I got off of a site online, there's my other load modules. They may not all be necessary, but they're working. So anyway, so those files may need to be modified on your system. Another thing I discovered is that if you bring down the GNOME ALSA mixer, you'll find that the capture, this one right here, notice the click on X, this one for me anyway is the one which is controlling the actual input that's coming into the card. And if I were to turn this off, I was talking there and you couldn't hear me. So this guy is important to me. I think it's this one here, line, I think is the one that controls the actual speaker. You may want to fool around with this to get everything working. But this was the key one right here, this capture. There's more than one capture here. It'll probably be different in yours. So with that said, I guess we're finished.